Would be a step for Golden Guardians as well to pick up on those slip-ups, those mess-ups, to use them as their advantage and not just kind of use it as staying still time, keep the lane phase going. TSM still going to be a strong fight, so we just got to do our game.
Yeah, and this is something we've been talking about a lot. Just what do teams who are struggling, what is their answer, right? And I think really it comes down to drafting simple win conditions, clear compositions that have very obvious strengths, and for me, in the meta now, that is about drafting hard engage. That is about drafting multiple forms of engage. Ways that you can start fights at any given time, so you're having to focus less on side waves, less on split pushing, and being able to focus more on some of the basics of the game. And I think that's what I want to see Golden Guardians do here today. Don't get too fancy, just focus on basics and try your best to improve week in, week out.
As we were talking about before, Golden Guardians had kind of a press R comp with the Karthus and being able to initiate in their last victory over Optic, so we'll see if they go for that press R comp again. We see our first 3 bans from each side as that Jace does get hit, definitely gets his Draven taken away. Broken Blade's going to do a hover before they get their first selection in as Urgot.
Yeah, and TSM going to be banning out Nocturne, certainly one of the pieces that can be very effective there, but we can see things like Camille, Galio, Scion, we've seen Ornn support, all these sorts of pieces can be very effective along those same lines, and I think Scion would be a great choice as an early pick here for Golden Guardians. Ezreal, Scion, this is already a couple pieces of what we have seen to be very effective late game team fighting style of compositions. Is something that we've seen CLG doing a fair bit. Things like Ezreal, Tahm Kench in the bottom lane, and then you have Engage from your jungle top and mid laner, and you look to really force those fights in the later stages when you're going to be strong.
Definitely in 2 plays in a win and a loss, still deathless on that Ezreal. So we'll see if he can put that positioning to the test this game against the Lissandra. The Camille coming at you with hookshot, and an Urgot that wants to be in your face or to kill you from long range with that ultimate. Last pick here for Frog and his Golden Guardians round out phase 1.
Yeah, TSM drafting away some of the pieces that perhaps Golden Guardians would have wanted to grab for themselves as far as playing for that engage. Camille is something that both Contracts and Acadian do really like to play. Yeah. They are very strong on these aggressive style champions. Muscles. Exactly. And Bjergsen certainly no slouch on the Lissandra. It will give him push against Froggen, and this is a run back of the matchup we saw Froggen play yesterday against Crown, where Crown was going for this Predator Lissandra style, trying to get up to the side lanes. That didn't work as well for them, and Froggen was able to scale. So excited to see if Bjergsen takes that approach where he's trying to play to the side lanes and less for lane himself, or if they feel that they can just pick on Froggen and discard this.
Absolutely. That Golden Guardians composition is only 1 short of what it was yesterday. That Nocturne was 3, 0, and 4 for Contracts. So that ban out has actually separated what they played yesterday. TSM were very knowing of how impactful that Nocturne was.
Yeah, it was a really big deal, making a lot of these team fights so chaotic, especially against teams that try to split, that try to play side lanes. Well, all of a sudden, you can't TP in. You can't react to these plays that the Team Nocturne team is trying to make. You can kind of swap in some of the other junglers, such as like Gragas or Lee Sin, perhaps, that can play aggressive and sometimes start up those fights. If you're looking for hard initiation, definitely Gragas, I think, is where I would go. That being said, it is not nearly as disruptive, especially 2 globals, as the Nocturne.
Yeah. And as well, Golden Guardian striking at the heart of that bot lane. Sven has been going off in this lane. Him and Smoothie seem to be combining very well for the TSM roster. And we'll see what other bans are focused towards the right side. That's a Braum for Ole, as well as bot lane gets hit up in those second phase of bans.
Definitely a player that I know has been struggling a bit with his confidence. He's surrounded by all these experienced guys and feeling the pressure a bit to really perform on the LCS stage. He knows he's paired up with Ole, who is this guy that went to Worlds back-to-back, that won the last 2 championships in North America. And that is a lot of pressure to perform for a young player such as Deathly. So excited to see how he's going to be able to step into this role and how they're going to develop as a duo.
Ole on a lot of that Tahm Kench as well. Has a pretty good variety in picks, so we'll see what they round out the composition with, as an Aatrox there was locked in on Deathly's spot.
So I'm expecting the Aatrox to actually go to the jungle. I think there are other options. Certainly it could be a Scion support and you know, an Aatrox top, but that would be a bit more atypical. So expecting this to be the jungle pick there, likely Scion top, the Karthus mid, and not expecting any huge surprises coming out. So in this case, it would be that support pick save for last. So I think that we're going to see Golden Guardians try to play some sort of a winning lane. Tahm Kench also does work very well as an answer into Camille, and Lissandra certainly can help to keep that safe. And we've seen this recipe used by a number of other teams. If you get to that late game stage, Ezreal has scaled up, has a Tahm Kench in the back pocket, has that Scion front laning for you, it becomes so darn hard to actually catch this guy out and take him down.
So looking at Golden Guardian's composition now, we kind of talked about those simple win conditions that you can, low-hanging fruit. Can they achieve that with this composition still?
I think they can. I think that this is a composition, though, that has to play for later stages in the game, which does get more difficult.
Few caveats, yep.
I think that once you get to that late game stage, it is a very strong 5v5. It is a very strong team fighting composition. But the real challenge, I think, for Golden Guardians is going to be surviving the laning phase. When you have Urgot and Lissandra pushing you in, Sivir pushing in your bottom lane, an aggressive jungler for Acadian, TSM is going to be the proactive team here, the one that has the first step on a lot of these plays. So Golden Guardians will have to survive, will have to withstand, and if they can get to those later stages, I think they have a chance to do very well in the team fights.
20 seconds until we get in the game. That means all positions are locked in and cannot be switched. So each team has an idea of what lane is playing against what lane. As we get onto the Rift, we'll be looking at the bot lanes and the mid lane as well. Bot lane, we're looking at the side of TSM. Can Sven and Smoothie still keep it up? But can Deftly and Ole start to pull themselves up from the bootstraps and bring a bottom lane that Golden Guardians needs to the Rift? We'll have to find out as we're about to be there. Golden Guardians versus TSM, about to be live on the Rift. Azael, looking at this, you think Golden Guardians needs this resurgence now? They have Liquid next week as their first game, so a 2-0 week here would be amazing for them.
It'd be huge, and honestly, despite the fact that TSM is a heavy favorite for most people coming into this match, if Golden Guardians wins, you're tied in the standings, right?
Absolutely.
The standings are very, very tight, so if Golden Guardians can start piecing together some wins, they're going to build that confidence, and they're going to be right back in that playoff hunt.
TSM versus Golden Guardians. We are spawned in, and we are ready to see what both teams have for each other. The homework has been done. We'll see how it plays out in the laning phase. We know TSM gets to the fight phase, and they control the 5v5. Will that be handled by Golden Guardians a little better this game is the question. And will they even that score? It's kind of crazy to think about. You said they'll both be 2 and 4 after this, if that loss happens.
Definitely a scary prospect. You certainly can say that, you know, some tough opponents on both sides.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe Golden Guardians has lost to some of the easier opponents there, but these two teams very, very close in the standings. TSM certainly not wanting to have a repeat of last year, which was by far their least successful year. We do have a sideline report, I believe, so we're going to throw it over there and find out what Avali has for us.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Coach Inero of Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians picked up their first win yesterday, picking up a little bit of momentum. How is that helping them come into this game today?
You know, it definitely feels good. It feels good not to be chilling 0-5. So the guys feel pretty good. Like our environment, even going in 0-4, wasn't a bad one at all. Everyone is still pretty confident that our results are going to eventually show on stage. So right now, we're just trying to ride that wave and feel good about it. Like TSM's coming in, and they lost the last 2, maybe like last 3 as well too. So we're hoping to have that little edge over it, but everyone's feeling good and feels real nice.
Well, Nero, thank you so much, and wishing you and your team the best of luck. Back to you guys.
Little steps, that mentality feeling better as well for Frog and for Deftly, 2 people that really want to prove themselves in the LCS. Frog even more so, being able to come back in, wants to start each game on the right foot. And if that mentality isn't there, we've heard from so many people that like silence causes chaos when nobody's talking, the mentality's down. You have to keep that up, and you have to keep the chatter going.
Yeah, you definitely do. As you say, the mental game is such a huge part of professional play. As Froggen playing a bit of a dangerous game. I think he should just walk around the safe way. Perhaps he wants Acadian to come in if they think they can win the 2v2, but Froggen is still level 1, and we'll be able to get back in as they see Acadian has gone up to the top side scuttle. Pathing straight from red to top scuttle. Very likely going to try to make a play for a double scuttle. Since he does have that mid lane priority, Bjergsen was the one pushing. He can make the early play. But as the Nero said, TSM is on this 2-game losing streak. There is going to be pressure on their side as well. A lot of the players, especially ex-TSM players, are very quick to tell you about the tremendous amount of fan expectations that come from being on this squad. The added pressure that can sometimes come with. So that is something that perhaps is working a bit against them, but they're a team that has been so successful historically, and there's a reason for that. You know, they are able to handle that pressure and rise above it, at least locally.
And even in one of those last losses, they had the Lissandra Urgot. It doesn't steer them clear of picking that again. They reformulate and figure how that works for them because they know what they can actually do with those champions. You're right, that mentality has been very strong for them in their history. 4-9 to 5K is just slight farming, offsets everything, but still anybody's game, Azael. We see Scuttles getting picked up here as the bot side of the jungle will be picked up by Contracts. And Acadian is hovering that same side. So we may see some action as all those Scuttles have been grabbed.
Yeah, both teams playing it fairly passive so far, and there's the opportunity perhaps, for those early ganks, but most junglers are looking like they're not going for too many of these early ganks these days. We did see an early Lee Sin play, but this is a nice roam from Broken Blade.
Just staying in, gets the damage down, the corrosive charge, that's on to Froggen, but not enough to take him down. He can TP back to lane if they were able to get there. You can see already trying to start the pressure as Broken Blade had lane advantage.
Yeah, really nice from Broken Blade. He has the shove on top side. He roams down. That costs him very, very little. Maybe he'll lose a minion or two. But now he's going to force the recall and the TP out of Froggen. So TSM will have TP advantage there in the mid lane. And if Bjergsen can shove him in, he may be able to actually come back without even using a TP of his own. With the minion dematerializer, he should be able to recall in this wave and just walk straight back to lane.
So a double Dorrance for him. He knows he's going to be taking some hits. He wants a little bit of that HP on. Broken Blade keeps us slightly pushed up against Haunter, 23 to 27 in that lane. As we haven't seen too much of the wet noodle fight going back and forth just yet. Broken Blade has had some great lanes, and we're definitely looking to see if he can push those advantages now when he has those lanes. They've kind of been fumbled before, and TSM needs to look to use that if he can get an advantage.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple times today in this Urgot versus Sion matchup where the Sions feel like they're coming out on top. Licorice with a solo kill in that matchup on the Sion end. And then in the following game, we saw Sion almost solo killing an opponent, as I believe it was Impact was close to going down there. So certainly have seen that this matchup can go either way. And if the Urgot gets overconfident and does get hit by a fully charged Q, that can look pretty bad. But it's Golden Guardians on the roam, trying to look to make a play here around Bjergsen, who has yet to base.
Interesting way to do this as well. Bot lane's pushing in towards Deftly, safe on Ez, but they put Ole mid, which makes that really hard against the Sivir lane. Looks like things are just going to kind of get real quiet in the mid lane and no hard push against Deftly for now.
And it's nice to see Golden Guardians giving that support to Froggen. He had already used his early TP, so two members come up to cover him. He dumps all of his mana pool on the Karthus to quick push that in and get a reset so he doesn't actually have to use his TP himself. And this will also get the TP there out of Bjergsen, who's going to look to shove this in. But since it's a cannon wave, if anything, Froggen maybe misses one minion, but back in time. So it's a well-played little thing coming out of Golden Guardians. And you like to see them piecing together these small moves to try to make sure they're on the same page.
You don't see that much cross-map movement this early, but they are helping each other out. And you said. Glacial Path in. Haunter trying to hide behind her turret just a little bit. Looks like he could go down. He's still rooted. Does not have time to move. Fear Beyond Death to take him out as Contracts is forced to watch.
Beautiful stuff here from TSM. First, it's Broken Blade roaming down to mid lane. Now it is Bjergsen going right up to top. As soon as they are both 6, that is such a hard dive to survive for Haunter because they killed him right before he got his ultimate. And with the 3-man play, they're easily able to burst him into execute range of that Urgot also. This is just perfectly done. Broken Blade had hit 6 on this wave. Excellently timed dive. Bjergsen tanking this up with the Aftershock, extra resistances. The other two members are free to get that damage down, knock him into execute range, and that is just really good map play. Impressive stuff from TSM.
As soon as they can pull the trigger, we usually see TSM making a move top side as it is to start things off. Now 7 minutes into the game, we'll see where that hits next. Acadian will be grabbing his red and Krugs, and we'll see if we get him in any lanes.
And you've also got to remember that this is, kind of the onus is on them, right? TSM needs to be the one that is being more proactive, that is out in these side lanes trying to make plays. Alessandro doesn't want to just sit and chill and farm it out with a Karthus, right? That Karthus is going to become very, very dangerous in those later stages. So TSM and their solo laners have already used their pushing advantage twice to make roams to each other's lanes. And that is very reminiscent of some of the times when you think, back when Haunter was actually on TSM and Bjergsen and him were being very successful together, it was about them roaming and helping each other out and spreading their advantages across the map.
You see that Poppy come mid lane all the time.
Yep.
Haunter coming in for Bjergsen. Bjergsen always has somebody in his back pocket. It's been something for TSM since we had Reggie on there with the odd one. It's a lot of focus, and that mid lane always brings a lot of power. And it's something you think of TSM, a lot of times you can think of the mid lane.
Definitely. When you think of Bjergsen, he's a guy that's worth putting those resources into, right? If you have an MVP player such as Bjergsen, hey, send the guys mid, secure him his advantage because he's going to pay that back tenfold later in the game.
Very true. Return on investment's coming.
Stocks are rising, Riv.
Better choose the right ones. Analyst desk. I'm not going with those
They're
guys.
not doing so hot.
Looking for how Froggen can get his ult off as well. Each one of these members has either a shield or a way to get out of a fight quickly, so Requiem won't be their death, and they're keeping that in mind as well. There's always a window for Golden Guardians to fight, leave you with 100 health, and walk away.
Yeah, they're going to have to, as you say, really track those. You have to make sure Sivir doesn't have Spell Shield when you're popping that ultimate to kill her. You have to make sure that the Urgot is not going to have his W shield coming back up. There's a lot of ways. Self-ult from Lissandra, as you say, so they are going to have to be pretty thoughtful about how they're actually using it. But an early Infernal, TSM again playing with those pushing advantages. Even having the lethal tempo here is going to help Sven on this push because you can proc that very easily and then use the attack speed buff to shove out the wave. And here's Bjergsen and Acadian trying to take away the blue. They want to trade this back, and their bot lane is first to roam, so they should have this here.
Yep. They just got the dragon, so they already had it pushed in. They're easily in there. Sivir used the ultimate as well. A lot of damage going down on the Frog, and it's going to be Contracts next as well. The blue buff will be TSM's after this, they decide. But it looks like with Ole coming in, they don't know if it's
the Ezreal
down. True Shot Barrage taking down Acadian as they try to make their way out of the jungle. And Golden Guardians collapses very nicely to turn that one around.
Yeah, trading back there with the ultimate combo. You Contracts popping his ult to stay alive, and then the Ezreal ultimate plus the Karthus ulti does trade back one kill, and they defend the blue buff. So admirably done there by the Golden Guardians to trade even in what looked like it was going to be a very good TSM fight. They were first to the play. They had 4 men there, but Golden Guardians does go even.
We realize this is the death-defying team. Froggen can attack after he's dead. Sion can. Aatrox is coming back. It makes it hard to fight.
It's a passive team.
Especially when TSM wants to commit like this.
This is phase 1. You got to watch out for phase 2. After the Karthus is dead, they're all eating that Defile, taking a lot of damage. The Requiem comes out, and then deftly here, beautifully aimed ultimate right on the money. Gets Acadian, trades it back, and they defend the blue buff. So gonna grab this up for themselves, and that's 2 straight blues onto Froggen. He's gonna be really happy about that one because they did steal away the TSM one. It's kind of funny when you think about that was always the TSM style, contest blues, right? That was what they were always kind of known for, is playing around mid lane, getting the advantage in 2v2 and taking away the blues, and it's Golden Guardians beating them at their own game in that regard.
Nice recuperation as well. We saw TSM had the inner line or in track on that one to get into blue buff, but they acted accordingly. Definitely picks up a kill after having a very farm versus minion lane, not really fighting each other. So for him to come out with a kill in a Sivir lane, that has to feel really good.
Yeah, it's definitely going to feel really good because, as you say, Sivir does not really want to interact with the Ezreal. She's just trying to fight the minions. She's going to proc the lethal tempo, shove you in, and Ezreal often spends, especially with a Tahm Kench support who's not going to be able to have that lane dominance, you're just going to spend that time under your turret. So to be able to pick up a kill like that, escalate the build, is going to feel really, really nice, and getting them a little bit closer to that late game stage where they want to be, where they can go for those 5v5s.
Just a minute ago, we got stopwatches up. Playmakers can playmake now. We saw one of Bjergsen. Broken Blade has one as well. And Acadian. Those little adventures into the blue side jungle become a bit more strong now that they can use those abilities and continue to fight.
And stopwatch is such a fun item for me because it's so rewarding when used well and so punishing when used poorly. It's essentially a worthless item. There's no stats on it. If you use it at a poor time to just delay your death, well, who cares? But it can also absolutely change a game. It can decide a fight. It can reset aggro on a turret shot. So tracking how players use that is always such a fun thing for me.
Whoa, double pick, gotta see. 20/20 vision from there. GGS doing well.
2 eyes, 2 pinks.
Got it. Better than 1. Smoothie and Ole licking back and forth. Looks like they'll get out of this as he's just putting down a bit more vision and controlling that as well. Up in that vision score for himself. Look at that, 17-13. Great job, Ole. Ooh, hit him with the Skittle. Oh, slow. It looks like they're actually keeping TSM just on their heels right now. Able to back in for you, control these lanes, pulling Sven back out of lane as well. Not much to farm there, but they're making TSM think a little bit more. And TSM, like you said, usually makes the other team do this.
Yeah, and they're trying to take away yet another buff, right? So this would be a second one that they would be able to stay away from TSM. Looks like they will be able to grab it, but you can see TSM is trying to answer in kind on the top side of the map, which does mean that their bottom lane is open to potentially get dove. 4 members of Golden Guardians heading down.
Contracts on that flank. It's going to be Ole taking the damage first. Nice aggro. Smoothie back under the turret. He's going to be the focus here. Sven tries to get that speed to him. Contracts going to use the World Ender, and they have not taken down Smoothie. Unbreakable Will keeps him alive, and this is looking good. Another True Shot Barrage. Way to give this one to Frog, and he's saying, come on, man.
But they just kill the turret straight up. They had the rift, so TSM with a great answer here. We'll see how much Golden Guardians can get on the bottom side of the map. But they commit the Requiem. They do get a kill, but it is first turret to TSM as well as a charge on the second.
8 plates. If you count around the board here for TSM, that is some cash money. So yeah, GGS has to do some work here on this bottom.
Valuable Riv. Silverware.
Yeah, keep them up. Here's another one if they can get it. They got 30 seconds on the drop of that. And it looks like both teams will be able to grab a little bit more gold. Great job by TSM, though. I wonder how many the most has been so far. I haven't kept track.
Yeah, that's 2 full turrets knocked down, as well as an additional plate off of the bottom side. So a lot of turret plates, a lot of gold picked up there by TSM. But Golden Guardians will knock down the bottom turret, and they are keeping the gold very, very close. Still going to be pretty happy, I think, about their position in this game. Really, the only thing separating these two teams is that Infernal Dragon that TSM has grabbed, and Golden Guardians going to look to take the second here.
Doing what they can. They're playing with fire, though. More so Mountain Drake. They're playing with stones. 2-2. Who's going to pick up the next kill? Acadian's going to be able to cut off Froggen here for just a moment. Froggen gets over the wall with the blast cone, and now Dragon half HP. Both junglers are there. 9-8. Contract Smite is bigger.
Sven is pretty separated from the team, but Golden Guardians I don't think had eyes on him, so looking like it will just be a TSM Dragon here.
Conceded, but there goes Bergson into the middle of the fight! And that's going to be Froggen going very low. Contracts on the back, trying to do what he can. Is definitely throws in the shots, but it's not going to be enough. Haunter, before he goes down with his passive, dies. And what a pickup there for Sven and TSM.
TSM getting it all there. They're going to take the Dragon and the fight as Bjergsen and Smoothie comboing there.
That's shock and awe. Not expected by Golden Guardian.
Yeah, the turn here was just beautiful as TSM, they gather up, in goes the flash combo, flash root, straight into everyone. Acadian flying in, blocking more down, and Sven ricocheting through this by picking up a double kill onto the Sivir. That was an incredible engage there.
Zale, I didn't think it would be so soon, but with TSM taking the towers and then enjoying the fight phase, they started the fight phase right away, saying, yeah, no turrets, we're up, we fight now.
Yeah, that's why you put the focus into Bjergsen. Did more damage probably than all of Golden Guardians there. Dropping a smooth 3,500 damage in an early game team fight. He was hitting his whole AoE combo on everyone from GGS.
It was disgusting. Smoothie in there as well. The communication was on point. Now at 16 minutes, the recuperation starts so they can stop the bleeding on the side of GGS, and you can see 11 plates taken to 5. And that is a huge surge in gold.
Yeah, 11 is, I want to say, the most I have seen from LCS. Yep. We can maybe get a double check on what the highest amount so far this split is, but certainly a very strong early game for TSM. Really going to be doing a good job with all those pushing lanes, and the kills are kind of where you would want them to land also. Yep. You have Bjergsen on 2 early items. Sven is quickly working towards that also. These are going to be the guys you're relying on to put out most of the damage in the team fights.
And that is confirmed most turret plates taken so far in the spring split in the LCS. So TSM really working the lanes, even with a bit of a fumble in the jungle where they tried to take blue buff and were pushed out. They still had one-track mind on getting those turrets and kind of getting that lead early.
Can say, though, while things are looking good for TSM, for the side of Golden Guardians, we have seen similar compositions like this withstand early deficits and come back late, but TSM trying to push that advantage.
Haunter throws down the ultimate, rings the dinner bell, and it's going to be Smoothie hit up first. A nice knock up on Contracts, and he can't get the Qs to hit. Still trying to get in with that Darkened Blade. Last one not hitting Bjergsen as he's still slowed. That's a shutdown going over to Deftly as they just have enough, but it's hard for them to get on these kills.
Yeah, nicely done, though, fighting back. It's TSM that's first to the play, but Golden Guardians equal to the task at the time.
Yeah.
Even able to give that shutdown over to Deftly is going to feel so nice. 3 kills on this Ezreal. He is right up there almost with Bjergsen as the top gold in the game, so certainly going to be doing very well for himself and looking to work towards that next tier, very likely here with another Mana Crystal.
He is currently all-time Ezreal 907 this split. So he's been unkilled in his previous games. This has to feel good for him, and it just seems to be the champion. He can worry about what other people are doing while he's playing it. That's when you can get in the mind of your opponent.
Yeah, definitely. When you have that comfort on a pick, you can think about all these other things. You're not focusing on unnecessarily the individual mechanics as much as the big picture for the team, and that's something that Golden Guardians has at times been struggling with this season.
So we talk about Golden Guardians able to come back a little bit more towards the late game. What do they have to do now to make that better for themselves?
I mean, I think it's simply continuing along these same lines, right? They are kind of on the back foot, but responding well to these TSM plays, being able to answer with Tom Kench ultimate, bringing over definitely to reinforce fights, using Froggen's ultimate at the proper times, and just continuing to scale up. The big thing they're going to have to watch out for on the side of TSM is that TSM isn't able to take a big objective such as the Baron to escalate the pace so much that Golden Guardians won't really have a chance to fight in that late game where they have this huge front line and they have all this protection for the Ezreal.
Definitely going to need to protect him. He doesn't have a map. He doesn't know where to go. You got to stay right hip.
Maybe as GPS.
At this point, yeah. Maybe if he was, I can't even think of the Pulse Fire Ezreal. There you go. Words. Then you might have GPS.
It's a little bit more high tech.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at a 2K gold lead. Just bumping up to about 3, but Golden Guardians is going to equal that out. Acadian and the rest of the team being seen here. This might cause a shift for Golden Guardians, or they will do. So I was going to say they're going to do their own thing, but they play the game and they're going to go for TSM.
Yeah, and that was the flash force on Froggen from Bjergsen in that 1v1. So TSM wanted to move in for this buff, but Golden Guardians, again, moving their members over, and they do take it away.
Ooh. Acadian right in. They bump Ole over the wall. Contract's low. He's going to have World Ender up there. Nice shot by Deathwick. Early true shot barrage. They're going to have enough damage to finish. World Ender comes out. Smoothie wants in. Bjergsen onto Froggen is on the top side fight. We're getting split up here. Broken Blade throws the ultimate out, but not going to get a kill on that one. As Froggen and Bjergsen walk away with slivers. Contracts and Ole doing the best they can to get a kill. The first one onto Smoothie as Broken Blade now in a real bad spot. Cooked up in the frying pan and taken down.
3 kills the way of Golden Guardians there, and they're looking to chase more. Ole's going in.
So Voyage, not a connection there with the first shot. They would have followed under for sure if that would have hit. A nice dodge by Sven to get out.
Yeah, and another flash forced out there, and you can see how this Golden Guardians team can be very successful when the front line is there. Sion is protecting this Ezreal. There's so much more threat on Sven, and here it comes.
Oh, the face check for Bjergsen! It's not enough armor. He goes down, and Contracts and the team are going to take a nice chunk of gold there in the middle, and they're going to have Ocean Drake to themselves.
Yeah, should be able to grab this one. First dragon of the game for Golden Guardians. We are just about dead even here at the 20-minute mark. As TSM close to picking up a couple of those kills. Froggen was sneaking out with barely any health. A lot of the members very, very low, but TSM not able to fully convert. And again, it's Golden Guardians quick to the play. They do get the secure on the red buff. TPs are coming in. Sion has roamed up and will arrive faster than Broken Blade. And Contracts is just in the front line, tanking with the Resurrect. You can see Bjergsen and Froggen were dueling on the top side. Bjergsen gets him to within an inch of his life, but can't actually finish him off. And then look at Ole. That Devour bought so much time, keeping Contracts safe. And you notice definitely protected throughout that entire fight. Monster zoning out those DPS by himself. Flashback to the TSM days where it's a tank in the front line, and Monster's trying to give him a piece of what they lost.
It's like, remember this?
I could have been tanking for you.
Let's see if he tanks any more. He probably could. He is huge already. Righteous Glory as well to get right back in the fight. That Black Cleaver is going to hurt from Broken Blade, though. So I don't see the fights slowing down anytime soon. Once we get these waves together, we'll get some more. Sven here to clear out mid by himself. Bjergsen's now going to take to the top side with Broken Blade on the bottom. Baron being up, they want to have a little bit of coverage on that. So it's ward time.
Yep, you can see they're going to be fighting for this. Contracts staying towards the edge of the pit so we can hop over the wall if they do come in, such as that. And we are going to have TP ready on Hunter, so we can afford to sit down here on the bottom side. You can see TSM is roaming Broken Blade up to try to look and see if they can actually find a play, but you called it. I mean, that's the Ezreal poke. At this point in the game, he's almost at the 3 items at a very, very quick mark, stacking up that second tier. And he is going to be putting out some scary, scary damage.
I like the early Lost Chapter as well, as he just kind of threw that in. He's like, wait, I'm rich. I'm just going to buy a Lost Chapter now as I have that
AP.
Yep. All the mana you ever need. So we have an Infernal and a Mountain still on the side of TSM. Can really mean big things if they ever get a few people off the map on the side of Golden Guardians. You take down those turrets and you're right on the doorstep of the GGS base for TSM. Contracts in the team, keeping this mid wave cleared. It's kind of the focus. Once GGS can break that mid turret, a little bit easier flow around the map.
And the other thing you got to talk about that I haven't really touched on too much is that there is always the Sivir late game for TSM, so that is something that they have as a bit of that late game insurance.
Definitely dies to Ricochet.
Exactly. I mean, when you do hit those really late game stages, that can be a reality. That being said, it's still a lot harder for someone like Sven to be able to free fire in the fight against a team with all this massive front line, such as the Sion and it's going to be easier for Deftly to stay safe, which sometimes makes up for the scaling difference because he has that safety and the ability to continually shooting in those pot shots from the back line.
Slow movement. Acadian might have wanted something over the wall, but the team is not calling for a full fight just yet. I don't know if there's enough vision on the other side of mid lane for them. You see how many pinks that GGS is actually putting towards that top side of the map, making sure objectives are controlled.
Yeah, and you called it out. It's the objectives on the top side. It's the Baron, right? Post 20 minutes, they're looking for this, and Acadian trying to fight back for that vision, but it is Contracts and Olay paired up here, looking to fight back in that regard, and now more Golden Guardians members coming over.
Ignite there onto Acadian. They're going to go right onto Froggen to try and keep him in the ultimatum. Ole goes up, saves Froggen, and they're back out. What a scattered fight. Nobody's really taking the brunt of the damage just yet. Froggen low, but he would love to be in there if he goes down. And they don't even have one target that they want. They're trying to just spread the damage all over.
And Tom Kent just shuts that pick down so easily. Acadian going to drop the Camille ultimate, but Tom Kent just gobbles Froggen right back up, takes him out of there, gets him to safety, and Golden Guardians kite it out. They take away some of those cooldowns. They get the TPs traded on both sides, so pretty even in that regard. But it is Golden Guardians who have the extra TP available right now as Deathlease is up.
Soon for Froggen as well. Could be a cool follow they have with Abyssal Voyage on that and the Scion ultimate. We just saw a huge global composition for Cloud9. Why not? They seem to be pretty effective.
Definitely do. Golden Guardians, you always got to be a little bit nervous. Anytime I'm playing a game and I press tab and there's a bunch of bounties on my team, I'm pretty scared about losing the next team fight. And right now, 700 on Deftly, 450 on both Contracts and Froggen. So if you do lose a fight, if you do get taken down, that can be a tremendous amount of gold going to the other team there. So Golden Guardians, though these members are strong, they are going to have to be very careful about how they're playing the fights, not playing too risky and donating those bounties over.
It's a good feeling, though, when you hit tab and you have it, you're like, why am I so damn good? But somebody wants my head. That's unfortunate. 26 on the clock coming up here with 3 Drakes, 2 on the side of TSM, that Infernal Mountain to the ocean of GGS. So they can keep themselves nice and healed up with this push comp that TSM wants to get in the side lanes. This doesn't look good from the right side. It can be very scary. Looks like Ole's going to be the first to check this one in, and they do know there was a little something in the works going on for TSM, but no engage just yet. Silver's over the wall, follow on Bjergsen. He's down to half health as he wants to just throws the shards in from the side now. Very tempered fights for the last 2 so far. Broken Blade untempering this one as he goes in, takes quite a bit of damage, and now they will back off once again. The Infernal did not want to be given over right away by TSM, but they feel like it's the better choice now.
And that was just a fantastic job by Froggen, sussing out where Bjergsen was on the side. He checks the brush with the Wall of Pain, pokes Bjergsen out. Bjergsen has to E out and then flash just to fully disengage. That gave Golden Guardians the health advantage. That gave them access to the Infernal, and they're going to come up with the Dragon and even up in that regard now too. We're dead even. It's less than 100 gold separating these 2 teams. 2 Dragons apiece, and it's going to come down all to the execution, all to the team fighting as we get to these later stages where one lost fight, one mistake can mean a Baron.
That hidden power of GGS. They had one play style, now it's changing so quickly. What are you going to do? TSM can't figure it out, but honestly, I'm looking at Contracts. I'm looking at Deftly. Contracts as well had a game yesterday, 3-0-4 on Nocturne against Optic, so he's feeling amazing right now, and these guys are putting that confidence into their plays, following each other into these plays, and seeing TSM kind of get routed in fights or not want to take one, it's super interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, TSM have got to be careful about what fights they take, right? You know, they are being fairly proactive. They are trying to set up for these plays, but Golden Guardians is not making the mistakes that are allowing TSM to just blow them out of the water. And you always know when some of your players are getting thwarted. If you make too many and they keep falling flat, well, you're going to give it away to the other team. So it sometimes can make you a little bit more hesitant, a little bit more careful about how you go about it.
That ever so knowingly uh-oh moment when you're like, actually, this could swing back. I don't want this. Bjergsen getting a little bit of pressure with Acadian's help behind. Froggen's going to stay nice and healthy in that situation anyway. Still waiting for a kill on him as he presses R. Abyssal Voyage behind for Sven. Can he get the lick out? Haunter couldn't get there with the ultimate either, but they do get pressure. They're getting a lot of damage on the mid lane turret, and really, that's what they wanted along with the kill. They don't get the kill, and they get down to half for the mid lane turret.
Well handled there by Sven, though.
Very well handled.
Only commits the ultimate. They do get Froggen's ult as well, and it really doesn't get much of anything. It's still quite a long cooldown here over 2 minutes before they're going to have that back.
Ouch.
It's sitting at 162 seconds. But Froggen is closing in on level 16. May get picked.
Oh, they're closing in on a Froggen. Hextech ultimatum goes in. Smoothie kind of waiting on the side. Do they want this? They're taking a little bit too much time.
Wow.
And this is what we said about the death-defying team, is it makes you think twice about the fight.
Talk about a valuable stopwatch there for Froggen. Looked
Yeah.
like he would have just gotten taken down, but TSM did not want to overcommit and have all of Golden Guardians crashing in behind them. And having them pincered against that turret. So they go instead over towards the Baron. They're starting it up. They have full vision control.
Yeah, beautiful. They have a light bright inside of GGS's jungle right now, so coming through the river might be the right one.
Blue
Still
trinkets,
vision
though.
going to be in. Blue Trinkets could go in for just a moment for a bit of sight on it. Smoothie staying for guard as well. True Shot Barrage goes across Katie and gets him pretty low. Bjergsen's going to lock down contracts. No smite contest available. Haunter tries to get the decimating smash down. Smoothie in a bad spot as he puts on Unbreakable Will. Contracts onto Bjergsen on a 1v1 as he glacial pass over the wall. And GGS do not get the Baron, but they do get a good fight and possibly some map push.
They're going to get the 1 kill, but still great job from TSM. They take the Baron. They're happy to give up Smoothie there.
Absolutely.
For the reward. GGS may be able to get a mid lane turret, but still, it's going to be all about how much can TSM take off the map with this Baron buff. They should be able to get a lot, and that was very well done. The vision control was fully in their favor. They had the Spellbook Smite from Broken Blade. He's the one who secures it, so they were confident to go for any sort of 50-50 play. That was just very well executed. You had the vision, you had Bjergsen shutting out contracts, and you had double smite. They checked all the boxes.
And this is when those deathless champions become a little bit scarier to play. You're forced into these fights. You're going to get sieged on turrets now that they have Baron. You're going to be in a much more dangerous spot. Definitely's had quite a bit of room to work with here with his team. When you're all huddled around a turret, it becomes a little harder. Froggen guarding that bot side. Looks like he'll be safe as he walks out. They have knowledge of where TSM is going, and they can act accordingly on the side of GGS.
Yeah, Froggen knew they could be down there, so he's just going to back off the wave early. Wanted to clear out as much as he could, so even if you lose this tier 2, thinning the wave before it gets to the inhibitor tower is very important. And he's going to be back to base, is sitting on level 16. Ultimate just about back up, so Golden Guardians certainly not out of this just yet. They are still dead even in cold. They do have a powerful front line here with Haunter on this Scion, who has a full Thorn Meal completed and is going to be quite a force.
I'm really loving the combination Quicksilver Sash by Deathly and Ole. Ole obviously being able to get safety for Deathly and Deathly safety for himself.
Yep.
Just adds on.
Exactly.
Feels good.
It just removes a lot of the options for who you engage on, right? If you try to ult up Ole, that's sometimes how people try to deal with the Tom Kench, but then he can QSS that and still save Deathly from an ultimatum or some other form of CC. So there's a lot of ways for them to stay safe, but TSM has been moving around the map better and as a result is ahead. We'll see if GGS can find the play.
Good wall of pain onto Sven. Smoothie going low. Try to get near his contracts, but he can't get the knockdown. There's the last one into Bjergsen. True Shot Barrage crushes a little bit of damage, but Bjergsen dodges it, actually.
Here's Broken Blade.
Broken Blade and Smoothie still trying to get on the side of the fight. Contract's about to be going down as he throws on the Zanyas. His ultimate is down, and he is down as the shutdown comes in from Broken Blade. Looks like Haunter could be next. Everybody's so gold, and that's what TSM is picking up right now. The turret goes down. That's a kill coming in for Froggen on the Requiem. Finally, he feels good with Broken Blade and Acadian going down. The triple overall as GGS says, not yet, TSM.
Froggen just drops the hammer with the level 16 Arthas ultimate, getting a triple for himself and showing why you have to be afraid of this composition in the late game. It's also Golden Guardians with more health. They're on the map. They will take an Infernal. And this is still anyone's game. TSM, the initial play looks like it was going to be good for them. Smoothie did a fantastic job absorbing the Scion ultimate, disengaging this, and they needed to buy time because Broken Blade was not here with them at the start of the fight. You can see Contracts going forward. Nice combo coming in from him, but Sven had stayed safe, and that re-engage from Bjergsen is where you say, okay, this is TSM's fight. But the thing is, where Contracts is going down and where Froggen is going down, they still have a lot of access to continue the damage. They buy a lot of time with the stopwatch. Definitely is kiting back. He is still safe, poking through. Froggen goes down with the Requiem on multiple members, and they are low enough that he can clean up. So very even fight overall.
You know what's funny is you wait for that moment as Karthus all game. That guy's Karthus still hasn't gotten a kill yet. 3. Now he's even score. Good lord.
Oh my god. He has been so good on the engages. Really, really effective on the Lissandra. And you can see Sven, he is on 3.5 items now, working towards his second Zeal. He's going to be sitting on 100% crit, and that is where those ricochets can shred people in the back lines.
This is why you get your money on the man in the mid lane. Able to throw out that damage, give good protection to the AD carry because Bjergsen's throwing himself willy-nilly into the fight. Almost able to come out alive every time here.
And he's got to, because he can create this big zone with the Aftershock, with his Zonias, with the self-ult, but there's no true frontliner, there's no true massive tank, such as the Scion for TSM, so they have to create these zones of space so that Sven can get involved and really utilize his damage.
Not enough minions in the mid lane, and they have to be wary of what's going on the bot side. Quick action could take down this inhibitor turret if we do not see GGS move fast enough. They're backing. They should be there, and without vision now on TSM side, they're like, wait, where actually are they? So everybody's kind of second-guessing themselves for a moment.
Sven isn't with the team, and he was spotted on a ward, so we could see Golden Guardians trying to engage on someone here. Ole's bringing the ult back, and in they go.
Contracts is in. They go through the base gate. Bjergsen and Acadian on one side. You got Smoothie and Broken Blade on the other. The 2v2 versus 2v3. And it split's going to go Bjergsen left, Acadian right. They're going to put the Bash brothers together to see if they can get a fight going, but nobody wants to take this. Nice dodge by Broken Blade. One of 6 feet, he's getting out of the way, and it looks like he's gonna go down in this run. So mid lane's now gonna be pushed by Sven and Bjergsen, as it's gonna have to be reacted on by GG. TSM say, yes, we'll take the fight, we'll get the objectives.
Yeah, this is the guerrilla tactics. Broken Blade bought so much time.
Wow.
And even Deathly didn't go back to base. 5 members chase the Urgot, and TSM will take an inhibitor tower there. Golden Guardians should be able to defend the inhibitor, but still TSM losing out in the straight up 5v5 in some ways, but they're able to move around the map. They're able to find ways to get small wins elsewhere. But the Baron is spawning, and Golden Guardians, I think, are at such a strong point in the game now with this Ezreal on 4 damage items, plus the QSS. They're going to start it up, and they're saying, TSM, come to us if you want to win this game. Broken Blade is down.
Gonna have to be a long fight if he even wants to participate. You have backs going on by TSM already. They're ready to set up the defense and just kind of hold the pause button on GGS's Baron here. So allow that to go over. They feel like the inhibitor turret in mid is a good enough fight, and that can open up game for them a little bit later. Baron grabbed up here, 35 minutes by GGS. Having a pretty good game, everything considered.
Yeah, really, really tight one. Golden Guardians now out to gold lead, though a small one, and it is TSM not willing to try to challenge that Baron, knowing they don't have vision, knowing they're missing their top laner. If you take that fight and you lose, that could just be the game. So TSM will play the safer strategy there. They will give it up, and they will live to fight another day. And we'll see, though, can you actually fight this team who now has Baron, who has the way to force you to come to them? Golden Guardians can group 5 members and march it down the mid lane, set up for the Elder Dragon, again, try to force you to come to them. And I'm not sure if TSM will have enough split push threat to really kind of pull them apart. So it's going to be, in that case, down to an incredible engage from them to really try to win out on a fight.
That's true. You can't break apart these wave clears when you have minion or Baroned up minions on either side. You have about Sivir doing a lot of work there, and Sven's already trying to hit them before they can get to the turret. Wards on his shoulders are keeping him safe there.
And you can see all the assist pings here from TSM. This 3-man squad is trying to set up on the side. They know that Sion is up on the top side, so they were hoping that Golden Guardians would cross the river and they could get a flank there. But they're just waiting now because both their soul laners are in the side lanes. Look at how safe Haunter's playing. He's not even walking up to the turret until they see these members, and Arthas is clearing out the bottom lane.
That's on GGS too. Once they see Haunter in the top lane, TSM might want to go. Bjergsen glacial pathing right where second turret would be, I'm guessing, if this fight happens, but he stays over on blue and safe. Elder Dragon coming up, and this is going to be the fight.
Yeah, and they might be able to force out the TP here from Haunter. He is pretty far away. TSM is starting this up, but it has a lot of life, and
teleport.
TP's coming in.
So top brush, he's going to stay with the team.
Here.
Bjergsen over the wall. He has Bjergsen in his eyes, but a wall of pain slows down Bjergsen, so now he knows his jig is up on that side of the wall. 4,200 HP on that Elder Drake, level 16 to a 15, so again, Contracts has the bigger smite if it does come down to it. And now again, they tempt fate on this fight. Sven wants to get in, pull a few abilities, see if he can get something out of somebody so the team can sideswipe. Bjergsen's clearing for now.
Yeah, he is bailed out to that side lane to try to make someone from Golden Guardians respond, but it's a bit of a standoff here as Golden Guardians has the top lane push. TSM is just opting in to try to go for the inhibitor tower here. We'll see if they can go for a miraculous steal. Acadian is around. If they can get both, they can maybe end the game, but they're TPing in.
Bjerg's teleport is to be behind them. Oh my god, they get on Deathly for once! Saved, there it is by Oli. He spits him out with the flash. Deathly's alive. Can he stay alive? Broken Blade is on him, and he is gonna be alive from the Seraph's Embrace shield. Bjergsen and Haunter now on the bottom side of the fight as a resurrecting Contracts trying to get back in. Smoothie adding the crowd control. Froggen's up, Froggen's down, but he's still able to add the damage. The wall of pain slows, but still so little deaths in this fight. Already 2 on the side of GGS for TSM, 1 for GGS. Requiem comes in and Acadian just goes down. Haunter, Contracts, and Froggen are looking for safety, but also to not allow the Elder Drake to go down. So touch and go, and Sven is still 100% health.
I cannot believe after all that is another 2-for-2 fight, but Golden Guardians are TPing back in. They brought Froggen back. He's level 18. He's trying to get behind Sven, who has no flash.
Still has the home guard speed on. A nice hit. Wall of Pain goes down on his Sven. Defile's there. They're walking on fire now. Smoothie tries to get himself to safety, but he's yanked back into this fight. Contracts gets another one there with the chains, and now they're onto Broken Blade. They will shatter him, and it will be a started Elder Drake as a few more shots come through to drop the last member of TSM.
Another triple kill for Froggen. He comes up huge for the Golden Guardians. They are on to the Elder. This is their dragon, and we have truly arrived at the late game. Deathcap Karthus, 6-item Ezreal, and Golden Guardians in full control.
And this is about 1,000 gold shutdown we had going from both ADs to the other team, so big money coming in. Elder Drake for Golden Guardians on 3 Drakes. We'll see it all again.
Yeah, here it is one more time. TSM decide, pull the trigger on the double TP, so close to actually killing off Deathly right off the bat, but they cannot get him. They cannot get the Urgot execute from that ultimate on him either, and Sven is chasing him through this fight, does eventually clean him out. But by the time he gets back into the fight, Froggen has softened up so many members. They buy time and space here for Froggen to actually get away. They kill off Acadian, and then in the midst of this, with the Baron recall, they get the kill here with the Requiem, and then Froggen just says, okay, I'll back up, I can base, I still have my TP, so he retreats out, is able to get all the way back out, come back with full HP, and get a triple kill for his team. So big there from Froggen, and these are the kind of huge performances that people were wanting to see from Froggen when they heard he was going to be back in the LCS.
And maybe once, but possibly never, have I seen somebody be able to teleport and then come back into the fight off of it. Sven's shield was up for just enough time. That's going to be a very rooted Haunter underneath the turret. He has to get away from it so it's not heating up for the other members of the team. Smoothie tries to get in with a beautiful boat rush. What a hit from Contracts! And that's going to be Bjergsen in the middle. Throws down the ultimate on himself. Very low members of GGS, but they're still alive to fight, and that's what matters as a final shutdown comes in. Orbital laser online, and there goes Acadian. 2 dead, 3 dead on the side of TSM, and GGS is walking through the base with minions.
And there's such low health bars. Contracts barely surviving, keeping the GA alive. It is still Sven up with 6 items on the Ezreal, but he is flashless. Bjergsen alive too. They are going to have to give up the inhibitor, but they will live in this game. These fights are so close, Riv.
Back and forth. It's the death-defying composition that continues to pack on the punches after they're dead. Haunter's in there. Contracts with World Ender. Froggen, whether he's alive or not, the guy's teleporting back from base to get into the fights. Oh, these are crazy. We'll see it again here, how this one happened. With Smoothie even coming in from the side.
Yeah, TSM knows they have to flank from multiple angles, but Haunter says, screw it, I'll engage. We don't have to wait for you. So they get straight on in. They are tanking up this turret for so long. Smoothie, though, with a great combo onto 2. They're able to turn around a ton of damage. Then Bjergsen again, who else gets the root onto 3. Self-ultimate, buying time there. Sven was getting a lot of ricochet damage, and this is where I was thinking, okay, maybe they can actually turn this around. That was a 1K shutdown for Sven.
Whoa.
Onto Froggen there,
yeah.
but Froggen just picks up another bounty after it because he gets all the kills while he's dead.
He just wants that return on investment. Remember to tweet your plays to LCS Big Plays. Hashtag LCS Big Plays. And man, we have seen quite a few this game so far. GGS is really starting to up those big plays, and I think it's taken TSM by storm here.
Definitely has, but Bjergsen has been certainly making some really nice engages of his own, and Sven, full build here, is going to have an opportunity still to be the hero in this game. He's also closing in on enough gold to buy another item to swap out those boots if he decides to go for it. But that is always a bit of a risky play because you're giving up some of that movement speed. Sometimes people will swap it out for a GA though, so excited to see if he is going to make a choice such as that.
Full build for Deathly, probably for quite a bit here, as well as Sivir.
Froggen also, right? These guys are all completing their builds. That's a 6-item Karthus sitting on so much AP
How much
at
harvest?
this point in the game.
Harvest?
13 harvest stacks, 750 AP.
Oof.
That ultimate is going to do a ridiculous amount of damage. It's well over 1,000 before resist.
Yep, Cadian had half health last time he got hit by it. It was taken right down.
Yep.
Big meteoric hole on the ground.
An old magic mantle, that'll fix it.
Good wall of pain. Froggen's going to definitely take a little bit of attention here, but plays the blast cone game to get himself the safety. Smoothie's looking for his way in.
Their group
Sven
hit.
throws down the ultimate. There's the speed. There's the ricochets. Haunter onto Sven immediately to shut down the DPS. Definitely in the back with a few on him, but 2 helping. And that's going to be Acadian coming back up. Is it enough time? He reses, and there it is. Froggen getting with the Requiem. Beautiful timing. World Ender going back up. The Contract's able to get himself to safety here as this fight goes a little slow and then a little fast. Everybody's waiting when to pull the trigger again. As Smoothie over the wall. Broken Blade made this stain in here, but it looks like they're going to stay for safety. They're just trying to corrosive charge over the wall. The vision is denied as they try to put more in. I see the game they're playing. They just want eyes on the Baron, and so much damage with the Ezreal hit coming in from Definitely drops one, and we will see Smoothie going down to Froggen. Broken Blade trying to make the plays, or does he go away for the day? That's going to be a hit onto him as now he'll draw Contract's attention. Probably go down for this situation, but he'll get help from the team.
Yeah, he's getting zoned out. Golden Guardians taking no chances there. They grab another Baron, and they are TPing straight to mid lane.
Bjergsen, the man to find the plays that aren't even there. Ole almost going down, another shard to come out. He's going to spit it right in the middle of the team, but he does get a double kill for his efforts. Ridiculous that Bjergsen can keep doing this.
Huge play there, but Bjergsen, we'll see if that's going to be enough to keep them alive here. Broken Blade and Acadian are up. It's 3 Golden Guardians members, but they have the Baron buff, and they have the 2 extremely strong carries, so they're going to need more. They need to delay for Sven. Let's see if they can do it.
Oh my word, still 45 seconds on Bjergsen to even come back in, and definitely is demolishing these turrets. It looks like they'll get a bit more in. I thought Broken Blade was going in harder. There's the Hextech ultimatum, definitely trying to stay alive. He's down to about 400 HP. Fear Beyond Death will finally drag one in. That's the Resurrection coming in as well. And it looks like Broken Blade goes down. Smoothie goes down. Golden Guardians feeling good as Broken Blade heads for the high hills. Sven falls. The Nexus is open. At 29 to 14. Golden Guardians drops TSM.
And that will do it. Golden Guardians back-to-back wins, 2-0 on the weekend, taking down TSM. And such a close final battle there. Broken Blade getting taken down right before his ultimate was able to grind up definitely with the Fear Beyond Death. He does not go down. Definitely stays alive, and he is able to clean up the game. Definitely and Froggen massive for the Golden Guardians in this game. 10-1-14 for the Ezreal, 13-5-8 for the Karthus. These guys are going to have some enormous damage numbers.
Enormous KDA on that Ezreal as well. I think we might be seeing that banned away from Deftly. And what a game to take TSM to their own ring to say, yeah, we'll fight over and over again mid and late game. That's the comp we brought to the table.
And this is the kind of win that a team can build a season off of. These are the foundations that Golden Guardians was looking for. Back-to-back 10th place finishes for the Golden Guardians. Then a 0-4 start here in spring.
Now tied with TSM.
Now tied with TSM. Now tied with a ton of teams here in the standings at 2 wins.
Yep.
2 convincing wins back-to-back. They're looking great.
Let's see more and get more from them for how it felt to take down his old team. Let's send it over to Avali and GGS top laner.
Thanks, guys. Haunter, congratulations on the win for both you and Golden Guardians. That was an incredibly hype and super close game. What was going on through your head, and what was going on through the comms during some of those ending fights?
That game was kind of a fiesta. It was really, really hectic. There's so many things going on. Like, all the team fights are just really crazy, and it was just really neck and neck. And I think any team could have won today.
And I mean, you took down TSM, your old team, as well as the player who replaced you. So how big of a win was this for you?
I don't really care about that stuff. I think this is just a big win for us because we had a really rough start in the first 2 weeks, and just getting any wins back on board is really good for us to make playoffs.
And speaking to that rough start, you did go 0-4, but this week you picked up your first 2-0 weekend of the year. What happened with Golden Guardians, and what changed for you guys?
So after the first 2 weeks, obviously everyone knew something was going wrong, and I think the main reason is because we weren't playing as a team, and we were failing in the basic fundamentals of communication, playing around our teammates and stuff like that. So I really wanted to make it clear that we should start playing as a team and make sure everything is crisp and clear, and that we all know what we're doing. And I think that's the main reason why I went 2-0 this week.
Has there been any player or players specifically on the team that you think have really stepped up this week?
Honestly, everyone stepped up. Like, it's a team effort to win, and like if one person say was lacking, then we still probably wouldn't have pulled off a victory. So I think everyone stepped up in their own regard.
And really quick before we go, I want to draw attention. I understand that everyone on your team is wearing these pins. Could you explain the significance to me?
Well, it's Black History Month, and we're wearing the pins to celebrate that. We also have these T-shirts. They look really cool. But you can follow our Twitter and then enter the giveaway. They're really nice T-shirts, but that's it.
Well, Hanser, thank you, and best of luck to you for the rest of Golden Guardians Split. That's it for us here. Back to you guys at the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you, Avli. From doom and gloom, 0-4 start, now sitting at 2-4 with a win over TSM here. Golden Guardians starting to turn things around, and they do it with Karthus games back-to-back.
Exactly. They've got Froggen on the roster, and they're fully embracing this, right? People kept on having all these questions. Will he play meta? No, he's going to play his Karthus, and they're going to win with it. And people, after yesterday, still had questions. Okay, you beat, like, the new Optic roster that we hadn't seen at LCS before, so they weren't quite sure how to feel about it. But this game, they had much more solid fundamentals, like Hunter was talking about, leading up to their late game.
Right, and in the games that have been looking better for Golden Guardians, Hanser has also not been playing those kind of mages top. I think he has an Urgot and 2 Scion games in a row, so he's been playing that tank role while Froggen plays more of the carry late game threat. And I think this is a great look for them, especially in North America, where I think we're one of the slowest major regions.
We are the slowest region globally.
Globally, that's, pick Karthus. Great, we're going late. Like, you don't need to follow the exact meta if your region's meta is different.
Yeah, that said, the game went to expectation, I'd say, in the early portions, or almost to chalk, where you assume TSM might have some cleaner macro movements or skirmishes, and did pick up a few advantages, but not enough to secure the victory.
Yeah, I mean, especially Bjergsen had some amazing engages here. Him, Smoothie, and Acadian on, Lissandra, Camille, and Alistar, some of the best, very fast, hard engaged champions in the game. TSM did not hesitate. That was something that they have talked about recently in a lot of their documentary. And after that dragon fight, you could see, like, they did not stop with that momentum. They did a pretty good job of trying to punish Golden Guardians for the scaling pick. But then there was a couple mistakes in the middle there, and that was enough to give Froggen the scaling time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem that we seem to have with TSM right now is, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's like, great, you made a good fight, and now you're going to contest this red buff, but they're going to get outplayed kind of by Golden Guardians, and they make their own mistakes too. I mean, Ole does have a really nice contribution to this fight. 1 for 1, but Contracts obviously has his ultimate to pop back up. Bjergsen's on Froggen. They're 1v1ing up in the top side of the fight. There's not very much coordination, and then there's that Devour by Ole that's going to keep Contracts safe. And it's just like this very scrappy fight when you're way ahead, and the fact that it's getting traded back pretty bad for you is where this game starts falling apart for TSM.
Yeah, from there, we start moving into the late game stages in terms of time and items, and that's where the Karthus starts to turn online, and we see, hey, even fights or fights that look like they're going in TSM's favor get flipped when the Karthus ultimate comes out, maybe a double or a triple kill being handed over every time.
Yeah, so it made the game super exciting because then Golden Guardians started, to get some gold back in their pockets here and start to build up for these champions, Ezreal and the Karthus, and the damage starts to come through, the Scion, the best front line in the game right now, and so that sets it up for the macro for late game, and we also have some super good replays for this. This is one where Golden Guardians had been getting pushed in so hard. As you can see there, Sven on the Sivir in mid lane though, while the rest of the team is at inhibitor turret, fighting it, basically diving it there, and all of Golden Guardians are like, okay, this is a 4v5. We see the Sivir on that control ward, and even with the ultimate possible speed boost, they go after it. They punish TSM for that lack of coordination in their end game split push.
And then this is where they have the opportunity to kind of salvage the play. Golden Guardians, you could even argue, are going a little bit too hard for these kills. They can push up the mid lane. They were a little slow reacting to it, but once they do that, they actually have decent ward coverage. They have wards in lanes, they have wards in the jungles. They know exactly how far away they are, and yet for some reason, Sven starts running away right then. They had a complete opportunity to steal Sivir ult to finish off that mid inhibitor turret and then back off. Instead, they just kind of leave, which gives, Golden Guardians time to say, well, we don't need to save the mid inhibitor. Let's go straight to Baron, and they're able to grab the Baron off that.
It's 100% coordination for the late game. That was all of that was.
Well, and it just goes to show that both teams aren't without fault, right? Even in that replay, we just pointed out a couple things that either team could have done to be a bit cleaner in it. But ultimately, top of the weekend, 0-4 Golden Guardians when or if they'll pick up a win. They do yesterday, they do again today, and it was Azael who was kind of pointing out, let's remember that TSM came into this matchup 2-3.
Yeah, they're tied.
They're now tied. All of a sudden, Golden Guardians isn't alone at the bottom of the standings, and to Haunter's point, he believes they identified some crucial stuff between weeks 2 and 3. Now it's going to be a matter of, practicing into those things and fixing whatever mistakes they've identified over the coming weeks.
It feels like they found their identity a little bit with the tankier focus on the top lanes, more carry in the mid lane. That's going to be really interesting to see where they go forward. And for TSM, right when we were saying, they're about middle of the pack, they look like they're doing okay. Now they're really up in air about whether or not they have that kind of synergy figured out.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that we've been focusing on this year has been that coordination and the team play, highlighting that for all of the teams in the league. So anyone who drops behind in that is going to have a hard time.
And it's great to see those signs of life from Golden Guardians. There's one more game before we close out week 3. 100 Thieves versus CLG takes place when we return.
One has helium.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.